So I started painting, like painting canvases, just recently. It was, I guess, this last winter. I took a class at the college that I've been going to, and I've felt this need to paint for years. And I'm an artist in other ways already, but I've always had this intense, I guess, kind of draw. Like my soul was like calling for me to paint. And I always imagined myself painting with blue paint. I've even looked up painters who only use blue paint because that's sometimes what I just would like to do, which is a lot of my paintings are predominantly I use just blue, different shades of blue, or I use a lot of white and blue. It's pretty hard for me to pull away from just using blue. I don't want to say that it's because my soul is blue, but I think of it as it's my throat chakra trying to come out, trying to help me work through a lot of blocks. And I definitely feel this strong desire to speak more of my truth. And look, I even have blue candles. I have blue candles because of a guy I dated briefly. Everything in his place was blue. And so I got these to burn away Kevin. Anyways, but they're still here. But I just wanted to figure things out with my paintings. I wanted to I think a lot of the time when I do anything, I try to please other people. And so I'm trying really hard not to just do things that I think other people will like. I'm trying to do things that I like because I'm the one who's creating, I'm the one who's painting, I make jewelry, I do some photography, I write poems, I write short stories, I journal. I usually journal daily, but recently I've found myself kind of stepping away from that because I think everything in our life needs to have that availability to change and develop into something else. And sometimes we feel like it's time to say goodbye to certain ways of being and certain things that we held on to so tightly. And it allows us to open up to things that are, waiting for us, the next step in our life. And lately, all I can seem to do is paint. And I am in college. I am doing a bachelor's in behavioral health because I would like to be a psychologist. But I never want to not do painting or art in some form. I'd like to get into metalsmithing. I'd like to get into doing woodwork. I've done some woodwork in the past, but I find that painting really, like today I was painting and I cried and I cried and I cried. I had started at 2 a.m. because I have some neighbors that live below. They're watching a movie in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep because I could hear their movie, and I just don't even bother talking to them anymore because I just don't feel like they care. And so I couldn't sleep, and it was 2 a.m. So, or it was almost 2 a.m. I think finally it was quiet around 2 a.m. But, so it was like 1:30, and I got up and I opened this new canvas out of its plastic wrap and pulled out some paints and got it started on this painting. And then this morning, I started working on it a little bit more, but I kept feeling like it just wasn't going in the direction I had at first wanted it to go. But it never does that. Things never go the way that we plan for them to go, because that's just part of life. And so I started, well, I wanted to put some white on it. I really like to whitewash things. And so, but my white is like almost empty. And so I decided to put some water in it, and I shook it up, and it's a big squeeze bottle. And so I dripped it on the painting, and I just love like that drip look. And so it was dripping down, and then all of a sudden, like, I was like, okay, so I went and grabbed a brush, and I just wanted to see what it would do. And there was a video in one of my shorts of this painting. I wish I had stopped it at that point because it looked really cool with these dry brush strokes and then the drips down below. But of course, I can never help myself. Of course, it's blue now. But I was whitewashing it, and I was dripping down this white, and then bringing the brush down, and then all of a sudden I had this poem just came to me. That's what happens a lot of the time. I just get into this emotional state, and I cried first. I don't know if I said that I went and grabbed my journal, but I first cried. I was weeping. It was like my soul was weeping. And these words just came in to my mind. I'm not going to grab my journal right now. I'm just going to go off my memory, and if it's not exactly correct, it doesn't matter. But it was, so I was thinking about calling the painting Whitewash. And even so, the poem's called that. It's whitewash yourself, whitewash your feelings, whitewash your beliefs, whitewash everything that matters to you, whitewash yourself, because you need to be like everyone else. Nobody wants you to be different. Nobody likes different. Everybody wants the same. People can't handle different. But that's not the truth. We need to be different. We need to be ourselves. We need to be colorful. We need to be bright. We need to be dim and dark sometimes. We need to not mute ourselves. We need to release ourselves. And that's the whole thing about the throat chakra, is releasing your truth, speaking your truth, and saying what you mean and meaning what you're saying. And like, I was recently dating somebody, and I found out that he'd lied about a lot of things, and I was just processing over that because I had thought I fell in love with him. I thought I do love him. I do care about him because that's my nature. But you can't fall in love with somebody who's not being truthful to you. And that's the same thing with ourselves. If we are being self-destructive, if we were to have ourselves like separate, and then there's two of us, like, how would we treat ourselves as another person? I, for one, do have a hard time being kind to myself or being easy on myself. I definitely overstress, overworry, put a lot of pressure on myself, and I need to be softer with myself. I need to be more loving and kind and caring and considerate of my feelings. And that's one of the things that I see with my paintings. I get very self-conscious about things. And I remember the first time, I first started painting in this class, I was so insecure. When I was painting this one that I've been talking about, when I was painting the edges of it, once I had gotten more blue in there, I was getting the edges of the canvas, and I was thinking about that whole thing, and I totally just lost my train of thought. Of Mel Robbins, who says, just go do those things that you have always wanted to do. It doesn't matter if you're bad at them. It doesn't matter if you suck. It doesn't matter if you don't understand or don't know how to do it, and it takes you so long to learn and figure it out, but it's one of these things that's like been, you know, eating at you for a long time. You've been drawn to doing it, and just do it. You know, like, this has been the painting for me. I felt like I needed somebody to tell me to do it in order to get started with it. And now it's been such an important part of my life that I don't see my life without it. But who knows how long it's going to be part of my life? Who knows how long I'm going to be feeling inspired to paint or needing to paint. It's just like I've been for years. I've needed to walk. I go for long walks, usually pretty much daily, but lately that's been kind of teetering off also because I exhaust my body, and then my adrenals and my thyroids, and I'm just, you know, so that's one of the things that I'm learning. It's like habits, and, you know, like my brain always wants to repeat and do the same thing over and over again. And it's like, it likes expectations. It's what I call the trauma brain. And because of the intense traumas that I've been through and the that my life has gone into these certain places, or having these certain experiences, dealing with these extreme stressors, I've found that my brain likes to know what to expect. And so I have a really hard time with not knowing what to expect. This is what happens when you paint a lot. You get paint in random places and all over your clothes and throughout your home if you're not aware of it being on you, and then you touch stuff. But I use acrylic, so it's easy to get off. But anyways, but life is never going to be plannable. We can never, I mean, there's some things that we could plan, there's some things that we can expect, but really there's so much that we cannot plan for, we can't prepare for. And so being able to have peace and patience and trust in the fact that you won't always know what's coming, you won't always know what to expect, I think that's a great way of healing and growing and just being able to live life in a way that's like, we can try to plan, but when you do that too much, then it's like, well, you know, that was nice, but I should have known better, but that's okay. And every day is a new day to grow and try to be kinder to yourself, kinder to other people. I really believe that we should all be nicer to each other. I'm so tired of hearing people cussing at each other, flipping each other off. I hate the middle finger. I mean, obviously it has value, but not in the ways that people use it. I really don't like causing harm to others or being unkind, and so living in this world is really challenging, and living with people around me that are not very nice to each other, it's really hard to see and hard to be around. So I have my ways of trying to deal with it, and painting, but in writing, and yeah, but anyways, I think I just wanted to get on here to talk a little bit more about why I paint and what it does for me, and maybe it can be something that is helpful for other people. And it is getting really dark in here. So I guess I'm just gonna end this, and I've got some other videos to upload. I really would like to start doing more longer videos with the creative stuff that I've got going on. I've got some photo shoots. Well, we just had my photo group that I'm in. We just did a circus shoot last Sunday, and I've got some content from that I'm gonna